Brantley Christianson Real Estate is a fully independent boutique real estate brokerage proudly serving Oregon and Washington. Connect with us online at brantleychristianson.com. So one of the most important questions that we get, and we get it all the time, is when is the very best time to buy or sell a home? And I wanted to share some insights just that I've, over the course of my career, it's been a pretty cyclical market. Whenever inventory is under a month or right around 1 month, you're going to have a really strong seller's market to sell your home into. So there's a little bit of a seller market bias in our markets generally in Portland, Southwest Washington. So we haven't really had a buyer market or a neutral market since 2013, 2014. Since then, it's been imbalanced towards the seller. So quick look at inventory. January is normally a low point for the first part of the year. Right now, especially so, we still are coming out of COVID Christmas, where if you can't have your friends and family over for Thanksgiving and Christmas, you're not going to put your house on the market, have the public walk through. So we've really just been dealing with vacant listings and a lot of new construction that's wrapped up. We have a lot of people that kind of got tired of dealing with this low inventory, decided to put lot reservations and buy some new construction that's going to be delivered in May, June, July. That's a strategy we like, putting your new construction on the market, or you lock down your escrow of your new construction in the first part of the year. As it gets built out, when you get towards your 30 to 45 days from close, we really get aggressive about wrapping up the escrow of the sale. So it gives us a window to kind of switch the equity. What we're going to see here is the typical rise from as the weather starts to thaw out, the sun comes out, the houses start to hit the market again, and we get to the end of the school year. And the end of the school year is typically where we see the most amount of listings. Last year was a total outlier. You can see that we were on the same trajectory. And then this is really when COVID took over the market, schools shut down. And then we went into this kind of pandemic summer, which turned into pandemic fall, which took all of the typical arc out of our market. We just lost all the air out of the balloon really early. We never really got our footing back. And we've been driven by really low supply. What I think is going to happen now is over these next couple of months, this is going to normalize, and we're going to get this slope back up towards 3,000, 4,000 listings by May. And the combination of the better weather, the normalization of school, the normalization of our economy, the vaccine rollout, all of that together, I think these 3 months could be some of the best in the history of our market and in our area. I think we'll see an explosion of listings that come on, all this deferred stuff that people just didn't have their houses on at the end of 2020. And now that things are kind of clearing out, people can kind of see a little bit deeper into the future. I think we're going to see people now make their final move. Some people that maybe waited or didn't want to deal with the market, or if they were at risk and didn't want to deal with the public. Now that vaccines are out, we're going to see just a pickup of the market in terms of activity. We see this typical curve as, the more that your particular zip code or school boundary is driving the neighborhood. So some neighborhood like downtown Portland, it's not a school driven market, but Camas is. So different areas, the buyers are they're driven, people that live there have different priorities. And if the priorities of a specific area are really strong public education, we see this curve really accentuated in this market of there's really no inventory until maybe that last month of school. Because if you think about families that have a couple kids in school, they're not interested in putting their house on the market while their kids are wrapping up their last month. Their kids get done, house goes on the market, they take a vacation, 4th of July hits, we're at the peak of the market for the year. They cash out and they get their equity swapped, and then they're settled by September so that they can still be in a boundary that they want to be in. So that happens really, really often. As we get into December, typically the quality is going to drop significantly. So you might get a better price in December, but it's almost always on worse quality. And then the best quality in every neighborhood, the houses that the special homes, we on the list side are saving our sellers for this curve here. That kind of naturally happens with the market of people's timelines, but the best stuff normally comes on May, June, July. There's a price premium there, but there is better quality. And then you start getting into the fall of why weren't these on during the hot season? And is there something wrong with them? That's not always the case. And sometimes vacant homes will pop on here, but we don't have any bank-owned homes right now. There's no foreclosure, there's no distress. Distressed markets, these off months are opportunities to buy, but we just don't really have off market because we have such low supply. Just wrapping up the price cyclicality of the year, this goes back almost a decade. You can see that we're now, our median price, our average is above 500 for the first time ever in Portland, and the median broke through 400 right around the middle of last year. So we're starting, the median hasn't got quite to 500, the average is through 500, but these averages are ticking up quite a bit. We're seeing, if you draw this regression, this is a really stable slope. The markets are just continuing to churn higher, and I think that this pattern continues of about 7.5–8% price growth annualized over a long period of time. So if you look at every single high point in the channel, it's June. I mean, if you go back like clockwork, it's right on this May tick, and this is where we hit our high prices. And then as we get into the fall, it sells off a little bit, but not nearly as much. And this is typically the lower quality inventory. And then we start a new cycle. And this is the rinse and repeat that we've done for 10 years since the last financial crisis. So to answer the question straightforward, the best time to buy is early in the cycle, January, February, March. That's the best time in terms of price and quality. If you're bargain hunting, November, December can be, but the market needs to be somewhat broken. I think the fact that there's almost no distress in our market, it's really been, I mean, any type of slight fixer gets flipped so quickly now that there's really no distress left in a lot of our markets. So it's interesting to see how that will continue to play out cycle-wise, but I think these next 3 months are going to be very busy, and I think we're going to hit our peak prices for 2021 in June and July of 2021. I think July 2021 could be the best period of economic activity in modern American history. I just think that over the next 3 months, with better weather, pent-up economic demand, families that haven't seen each other for a long time, people that want to travel, the vaccine going out, 100 million vaccines out and 100 million checks out was something that Biden was talking about today. I don't care where you fall at politically on the spectrum, that's going to create economic activity. The unthawing of the pandemic economy and market that we're living in, the combination of more free cash into the market and more stimulus is going to create people moving around, and it's going to keep gas prices high. It's going to keep energy prices high, and it's going to keep pushing interest rates high. And we're going to go from 3.25%, in my opinion, probably to 4.25%. And we're going to look back here and say, hey, these prices are up another 12 to 15%. And the interest rates went from 3 to 4. And that purchasing power is going to be diminished in a year. When prices are up higher, interest rates have crept up a little bit. We're going to continue to see affordability be under pressure. One last thought to leave on, we're starting to see Portland pick back up for the last couple of months. And really for the last couple of years, this gap has tightened between Clark County, the Washington side of the river, and the Oregon side. That's starting to gap back out as my guess is as there's a better chance that state and local taxes become fully deductible again. I think that kind of clears the way for some of the blue states in the luxury market to pick back up again. Clark County is going to continue to thrive and grow because it's a work from anywhere. It's built for work from anywhere, and there's no income tax on state income and good public education. So I think that Clark County, it makes sense why we're going to be a relocation market. And then on the Oregon side, right on the other side of the river, there is, I think, rejuvenation coming to a lot of these markets. condos are starting to come down. I mean, look at the amount of condo inventory. I mean, this was really a glut that we had happening for a long time. We're starting to see this stuff pick up and go through. So sorry for that kind of choppy transition there, but these prices are going to continue to go. We're seeing the condos get absorbed, and that's good for, if you're looking at the urban flight, maybe that trade is over in Portland, and maybe that was kind of accentuated. I think that the demand in Portland won't necessarily go away from it's a good mix of urban and suburban. But I think Washington will continue to thrive as a work from anywhere stronghold. So there's going to be advantages to both sides of these markets, and both of them look really healthy. And they look really healthy for February, March, and the trajectory going into the hot part of the year should be really great for wealth creation and for everybody, except for people that don't own real estate or that are trying to buy. If you don't get in the game, if you don't get something locked up now, it's just going to continue to surge. And I mean, these average prices are all through 400,000 now. So we're starting to get to a point where to be in a house at 10% down, it's going to be costing you $2,500 a month, depending on how it's structured and where your taxes are at, all that good stuff. And that's kind of where people start to tap out in terms of demand. So there's going to be a chunk of people that kind of fade off. And that's kind of been happening, unfortunately, for the last 5 or 6 years, where more larger and larger chunks of the market are getting cut off because the lower end of the demand curve rises faster. So you're seeing houses at 200,000 are appreciating the fastest to now the point where there's not really any $200,000, $250,000 homes left. So that part of the demand curve, the first time buyer is going to continue to surge 10, 12, 15%. That inventory is going to get up through 500K. So interesting to see how that plays out. But those are my thoughts on the market cyclicality and just kind of what we have coming up here in Portland and Southwest Washington. Hope you have a good day. If you need anything from us at Brantley Christianson, we have brokers all over the place, everywhere in Oregon and Washington. We can help you really anywhere that you need to be. We focus on residential. We do some light commercial. Anything other than that, we'll refer out. But we can help you vacation properties, second properties, Airbnbs, help you buy a restaurant. We can help you buy a duplex, quadplex, all that good stuff. So if you need anything, we're always happy to help. Have a great day and talk to you soon.